What's up, guys? It's MB Boxing, and I just finished up watching Sebastian Fundora versus Sergio Garcia, and this was a 12-rounder for the WBC super-welterweight world title eliminator, and this fight was Sunday, December 5th, from the Staples Center in Los Angeles, California, and this fight was broadcasted on Showtime pay-per-view, and in this fight, Sebastian Fundora was able to get a unanimous decision victory over Sergio Garcia. And the judges scored the bout 115 to 113, 117 to 111, and 118 to 110, all in favor of Fundora. And I have to say this, I disagree with the judges. I personally scored this bout 115 to 113 in favor of Sergio Garcia. I think that 118, 110, and 117, 111 score are terrible. Both of those scorecards are awful. They should be discredited. I mean, they totally disregarded Sergio Garcia's work as the shorter man, being the one coming forward and forcing the action of the fight. Fundora is normally the guy that does that, but here, I mean, we saw that Garcia was naturally the physically stronger man. He was able to push back Fundora and land beautiful combinations on him. But Fundora, he did try and box most of the time throughout this fight. But I mean, I could have accepted 115, 113 Fundora. I think that's an okay score if you're giving some of these swing rounds to Fundora's side as opposed to Garcia's side. But I think it was either 115, 113 either way, maybe 116, 112 Garcia, if not a draw. I thought it was that type of fight. I thought it was razor thin. Either man could have won it. I mean, comment down below your scorecard for this fight because I'm very interested to see if anyone had it that wide for Fundora. I mean, I know I don't, and I know what I watched. I mean, Garcia, he looked excellent in some of the middle rounds and the earlier rounds. So, I mean, in round one, Fundora looked excellent. I was thinking, wow, Fundora might actually easily knock out Garcia like I actually did predict. So, yeah, he was landing some nice pop shots, popping the head back of Garcia, making him look like a bobblehead. But then rounds 2, 3, and 4, Garcia won with ease, in my opinion. I mean, he came forward, was throwing nice shots on Fundora. Fundora didn't have anything to come back. He was getting rocked a bit with overhand rights from Garcia. Garcia, I mean, he really proved me wrong. I thought Garcia was going to be the one on the outside boxing maybe, and maybe getting stopped just because he was the one boxing and he didn't have any leverage. But here he came forward and he really proved to me, I mean, that he's an excellent fighter. And he's definitely, I'm not a fan of his because he fought excellent, given that he was so much shorter than his opponent. I thought he should have won this fight. So, yeah, but then here and there, Fundora on my scorecard would win a couple of rounds in the midst of the middle rounds. But then, as the fight started to go on, Fundora won, I believe, rounds 8 and 9 on my scorecard. And Fundora landed some nice shots there, but they were still very close rounds. I could have went either way, but that's when Fundora was actually starting to land some nice shots and starting to box more and box on his toes. But then, rounds 10 and 11, I believe, or 11 and 12, I should say, Fundora was backed up a bit, especially round 11. Round 12 is a very competitive round, where Fundora won most of it, but then in the last second of the 12th round, Fundora got hit with a beautiful left hand from Garcia that sort of buckled him a bit. But then round 11, I mean, I thought Garcia won it. He landed some nice shots, backed up Fundora a bit, but Fundora did start out round 11 strong with some nice right and left hands to the head, backing up Garcia. So with that being said, I mean, Sebastian Fundora getting, in my opinion, a controversial decision, and in many people's, because from what I saw in some other YouTube channels and other sites of who was watching and scoring the fight live, most people had Garcia winning. And in fact, I didn't see anyone who had Fundora winning. I saw 2 people had it 115, 113, Garcia agreeing with me. Someone else had it 116, 112. I mean, those were really the general scores I saw. I didn't really see any draws, even a Fundora win, but I could still accept those. I think those are decent scorecards because there was a lot of swing rounds throughout this fight. But I think 118, 110, and 117, 111 are bogus and awful scorecards. So what is next for Sebastian Fundora after getting this victory and defeating an opponent who was undefeated with an excellent record? I think Fundora is going to go on to possibly fight the winner of a possible Castaño Charlo 2, maybe even just fight Charlo in between when Charlo and Castaño might fight. But based off of this performance, I mean, if someone's able to back up Fundora like Garcia did, I mean, someone like Castaño, for example, I mean, he could have a lot of problems and get dropped or lose the fight on points, which I thought here, but too bad Garcia didn't have that much power because he has 33 wins, but only 14 knockouts. So he has almost 20 fights that have went the distance. on his resume. So I think Fundora will either fight Charlo or like the winner of Charlo Castaño too. Maybe even a other fight to determine like an interim champion or something like that. But otherwise, maybe even Erickson Lubin, that could be also opponent. So yeah, the 3 opponents that could be next for Fundora are either Castaño, Charlo, or Lubin. But as for Sergio Garcia, I think he should get a big fight in the United States. Again, this was his first ever fight in the U.S., actually, and he performed very well, in my opinion. He was able to sort of tone down Fundora's advantages with the height by just being in his chest and throwing shots like to the body, to the head, even to the solar plex. And I thought he did very well, but the judges didn't see that. But still, I think he should fight maybe someone like an Austin Trout, someone in the top 15 at super welterweight that is seasoned. Maybe even even though Luis Arias just lost actually on this card to Von Alexander, a huge upset, I would have hoped you saw him or to see Garcia fight someone like a Luis Arias, maybe even a Jared Hurd. That'd be very interesting. Maybe a Vladimir Hernandez, who's coming off that big win over Julian Williams, and maybe even a Julian Williams. Anyone in the top 15, top 20 in the super welterweight division, I would not mind seeing Sergio Garcia fight. So overall, Sebastian Fundora defeats Sergio Garcia by unanimous decision, although I thought that he should have lost this fight, but he still won the WBC super welterweight world title eliminator. And that's really it. I'm MB Boxing. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.